Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome again to supply chain modeling. We were on module 4, that is production planning and control. In the previous segment, we discussed production planning, and in this lecture, we are going to discuss master production schedule. The learning objectives for this lecture include to understand the importance of balanced disaggregation while converting a production plan into a master production schedule, understand different time fences and corresponding zones in an MPS grid. So we will discuss what is an MPS grid and what are the time fences and the resulting zones in that grid. We will also learn to perform rough cut capacity planning based on preliminary MPS. So we make an MPS, check it against the available capacity, and if there is a mismatch between the plan and available capacity, we adjust the initial MPS and then make a revised MPS. We will also learn to calculate projected available balance, PAB. That is simply the inventory that we will have at the end of a period. And finally, we will also learn to calculate available to promise. It has two types, discrete ATP and cumulative ATP. So we will learn to calculate both of these. So in part A, we will discuss basics of master production scheduling. So these are the different levels of production planning and control hierarchy. So as we discussed in the previous lecture, that first a strategic business plan is made, that is generally in monetary terms or in terms of volume or number of units as a whole. Then there is a production plan, and this plan is generally for product families, so that strategic business plan is broken down into a production plan. And this production plan is generally the result of sales and operations planning process. And it is an iterative process that is repeated generally on monthly basis, but it has to be in balance with the strategic business plan. This production plan for product families is broken down into master production schedule. So this is for end items or sometime for product mix that we are going to make. And then in the light of master production schedule plus bill of materials, material requirements plan is made. So that is the plan for raw materials or the components that will be required to execute master production schedule. So these are the 4 levels of planning, and finally the plan is executed or implemented. So that is called production activity control, and that also sometimes, or actually most of the time, involves the purchasing process as well. So we are here just right in the middle of a production planning and control hierarchy, and that is master production schedule. So the same thing shown with respect to 2 variables here. So we have planning horizon. The planning horizon for strategic business plan is quite long. That is relatively short for production plan, that is for the product families. And MPS is even, the planning horizon for MPS is even shorter. And as we discussed, that MPS is for end items or sometimes for product mix. The planning horizon for MRP is even shorter. That is the plan for components and raw materials, and for production production activity control, that is even shorter. So strategic business plan spans for at least a year, or maybe more than that, maybe up to 5 years. The production plan is generally from 6 months to 1.5 years, but that is generally for a year. MPS could be somewhere between a month to a quarter, and MRP is generally weekly to monthly, and production activity control actually takes place on daily or weekly basis. But these are just rough figures to give you an idea about the length of planning horizon. And level of details is just the opposite. In strategic business plan, we are talking in terms of business volume, or the monetary value of business that we are interested in for a certain period of time. Production plan is generally for product families, MPS for end items, MRP for components and raw materials. So you can see that the level of detail is increasing as we are moving from strategic business plan and finally to production activity control. So here we are talking in terms of components and raw materials. So MPS is just right in the middle of this production planning and control hierarchy. So we have aggregate production plan, the annual plan that is broken down into MPS and bill of material drive your material requirements plan, and then actual production starts. So we have to check the available capacity, and almost at every planning level we check the capacity available, and if that capacity is not sufficient, then we either make plans to increase the capacity or change the plan. So next step after production planning is to prepare a master production schedule, or MPS. It forms the link between production planning and what manufacturing will actually build. So as we saw that it is just right in the middle, and this is where actually we make two decisions: what has to be made and when it is to be made. So the quantity of certain end items and the timings when they will be made. So just as sales and operation plan balances supply and demand at the product family level, master scheduling balances supply and demand at the end item or independent demand item level. So this is what we have discussed. The MPS drives the material requirements plan. So we need MPS plus bill of materials to make material requirements plan. So as a schedule of items to be built, the MPS and bills of material determine what components are needed from manufacturing and purchasing. So we will discuss MRP, or material requirements planning, in detail in the next lecture. Whereas the production plan deals in families of products, the MPS works with end items. The production plan limits the MPS. The total of the items in the MPS should not be different from the total shown on the production plan. So that is important, that one of the main inputs to MPS is your production plan, and the number of items in the MPS should be in balance. It should be in balance with the number of items in the production plan. In a nutshell, the MPS is a plan of what is to be produced and when. So we have to make two important decisions: what is to be made and when it is to be made. And of course, in what is to be made, the quantity is also there. So it tells sales and manufacturing when goods will be available for delivery. So we will see in one of the following slides that actually MPS is a good way for effective coordination between sales and manufacturing. So just as a comparison, sales and operations planning that actually makes the production plan, while master scheduling or master production scheduling makes the building schedule, that is what is to be made, in what quantity it is to be made, and when it is to be. Sales and operation planning deals with product families, master scheduling deals with end items. The planning horizon in S&OP is determined by the longest resource lead time, while in master scheduling it is decided by longest cumulative lead time. And we will see this point in one of the following segments. The time horizon for S&OP is monthly, so we are making decisions on monthly basis. So what is to be produced every month and in how much quantity, but that is in terms of product families. And time horizon for master scheduling is generally daily or weekly. So just keep in mind the difference between planning horizon and time horizon. So these are two different things. So planning horizon is the length of time for which we are making a plan. So are we making a plan for next year or next 6 months? So that is the planning horizon. Time horizon is the time bucket. So that is the time unit in which you are dealing. So it could be weeks, or it could be days, or it could be months as well. So generally, that time bucket for S&OP is a month, and for MPS, it is generally a week, but it could be a day as well. The planning focus in S&OP is volume, and that is actually disaggregated into product mix, and finally end items for master scale. The output of S&OP is production plan, and output of master production scheduling is master production scheduling. So this is what we have seen, that production plan drives the master production schedule, that drives the material requirements plan, and both require sales forecast. But the sales forecast for production plan is generally the forecast for product families, and for MPS it is the end items.